verses 20 to 7 to 38 inclusive. Now, the dominant theme, especially in the early part of the gospel reading itself, the dominant theme of the gospel is the theme of death. And it's probably appropriate this gospel reading occurs at the first week in November. Because at this point, most of the leaves have fallen, the grass is going dormant, all signs of vegetational growth are ceased, and death is all around us. But death turns out to be a part of life. In pain and agony and anguish and trial and tribulation, all those things turn out to be a part of life. And whenever you look at someone, you never know what their story is and what is going on in their life, what is going on in their heart. All of us, I would surmise, by this point in your life, you've been affected by death, you've been affected by pain or some kind of agony or some style of suffering. You probably do your best to put your best foot forward so when you are in the store, no one can really tell what you are going through or what you have gone through because you try to keep a smile on your face. That's what I find so amazing about verses 28 to 31 in today's gospel reading, especially the story about these 7 brothers. Let's take a look at verse 28 to 31, again, the 20th chapter of Luke. Now, it starts off by saying, teacher. That's one of the Sadducees is going to ask the teacher, the rabbi, Jesus, a question. And he tells Jesus, Moses wrote for us. Now, the italicized section, that's going to be quoting the Mosaic law. And he says this: if someone's brother dies, leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brothers. That's the Mosaic law. And then he's going to tell Jesus the story about these 7 brothers. And there it is. It actually turns out to be verse 30. We're going to go to verse 31. Now, there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman but died childless, and the second and third married her, and likewise all 7 died childless. They were to raise prosperity to their brothers. Now, every time I read that section of that gospel reading, I have great admiration for brother 4 and 5, and even better admiration brother 6 and 7. What these guys did is absolutely amazing. Now think about brother number 4. Brother number 4, when the 3 brothers before him died, and he realizes, I have to marry this woman and raise prosperity in my brother, get descendants to this woman and honor my brothers. He had to say to himself, okay, my first brother died. No one saw that coming. That was unfortunate. My second brother marries this lady. He dies. That's somewhat of a coincidence. My third brother dies. He had to say to himself, something about this woman. I'm not sure what it is. But what I find amazing, he jumps into the water. I really admire this guy. Now, I look at that and I say to myself, if this story had taken place in Lower Borough, and I were brother number 7, I'd be running down Leechburg Road so fast it'd be unbelievable. Because I say, Jesus, I understand the Mosaic law, but I can't live it. Look at what happened to my 6 brothers before me. I know my future if I marry this lady. But when you look at that family, what incredible death they had experienced. But clearly they were an honorable family. They were honorable brothers. They wanted to raise prosperity to brothers. They needed to acquire descendants to honor each brother ahead of them. And I find that amazing. But something tells me that these 7 brothers had so much honor that if you saw these brothers in a store, you would never have known what they were going through. They knew what they had to do. Something tells me they did it well. They did it with a smile on their face. You know, that's the way life works. You never know what someone else is going through. Because your heart is broke and you look at someone else and they have a smile on their face, they seem happy-go-lucky. Sometimes we have a tendency to conclude their life is so easy compared to mine. But is that always the case? Well, I think this video is going to describe the fact that that isn't always the case.
I have it, but I need to.
Now, what color is your dress?
It's a light blue color.
Yeah. And taken.
Always.
Just wait 30 years, buddy.
Like this one? Yeah. Yeah? Me too.
All right, 6:05 is your change.
Awesome.
You have a great day.
Hey, thanks. You too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it. I'm breaking up with Ryan.
Sometimes in life, there's always that tendency to believe that the other person has it made and you don't. The elderly man in that video, he really thought that the young fella had a nice young wife, and he was taking a big thing of flowers to his wife, but he didn't realize that he didn't. And then he had just those little flowers. And my heart always says, when he turns around with those little flowers, because the video doesn't go that far, I say to myself, he was headed back to the flower shop. Because he was going to see if he could exchange those and get the bigger flowers for the wife that he loved and lost. I think she would be upset to know that he tried to save some money on her. But what is unfortunate is this, is that there's that tendency always to think that the other person in their life is so much better than yours. You never know what someone else is going through. Those 7 brothers, no one really knew what those guys were going through, but they were trying to honor the brother before them by marrying the woman. When you're at John Eagle and you're pushing your buggy down the aisle and someone's coming the other way that you know, and you say hi to that person and they don't respond to you, there's always that tendency to believe, well, they're just being stuck up or they're ignoring me for some reason, they don't like me anymore, but you don't know what's going on in their heart. They are there physically in the store making purchases as you are, but you don't know their pain. They could be 1,000 miles away because they're dealing with the loss of a loved one, or a loved one who's going to be lost because a loved one is right now dealing with cancer and they're at the last line of terminal cancer or some type of terminal illness, and their heart is just broken, but they have to be in that store and they aren't even in the aisle that you are. It's called giving everyone else the benefit of the doubt. We all need that. Because despite the fact that we always try to put a smile on our face when things are going along horribly in our lives, because we don't just walk around with a frown and big sign that says, I'm suffering and I'm going through these problems. You still try to do your best, but when someone looks at you, if you're not willing to give someone else the benefit of the doubt when their heart is breaking, you're just going to make an assessment about that person that's probably going to be wrong. That's an incredible gospel reading. The 7 brothers I admire. They went through a lot. That video teaches us that, no, just because someone looks to be happy-go-lucky and they're on top of the world, and they apparently seem to have it all, that doesn't necessarily become the case. I think the message for all of us this morning, and it's the challenge for us, is to give people around us the benefit of the doubt. Because you know what you're going through, but you never exactly know what your neighbor is going through. And it could be much harsher than what you're dealing with. Giving someone the benefit of the doubt is a gift that you could give to someone else, and a gift that you give to yourself.